What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification, put it on all so you get notified of all the latest content on the channel as and when it drops. So without further ado, let's get into this one. Just going to talk about a bit of the BT card. The main fight I was sort of interested on the card, which was Anthony Yarde versus Koykov. Koykov is a guy that comes with a record that looks half decent on paper, but then when you look at the names, no one of real substance or note on his record. The only thing is most of his fights are won by knockout. So he's a guy that Yarde's team, I think Tunde, they were saying, well, we can't find any footage of this guy. It's just a case of one thing we can find is that, all right, he's got a lot of knockouts on his record, so perhaps the one thing he can do is punch. So yeah, the fight starts. Koykov came in there. You could tell he came in there with some ambition. He came there, went forward on Yarde, tried to get things started early, tried to land some combinations, but right from the off you could tell that Yarde was on a different level to this guy. I mean, he did the best work he done was right at the beginning of the fight. He sort of tried to startle Yarde, and Yarde had to sort of adjust himself a little bit, get his bearings quite quickly. And it was just that beginning patch where he had a little tiny bit of success, did Koykov. But other than that, you could tell that he's definitely leagues and leagues below Anthony Yarde. Yarde just pretty much took over from that point. He had to take a few silly shots here and there, but nothing of consequence. He done a lot of things right in his fight, did Anthony Yarde. I was particularly impressed with the work to the body, because going into a fight against Beterbiev, he's going to need to invest in that body, do that downstairs work. And he was good here because he would sort of tap to the head, sometimes throw these little tap shots, and then drop one down to the body. Particularly the right hook to the body was a good shot that he would throw often. And you could see, even as the commentary was saying as well, that every time he sinks those shots downstairs, there was a reaction from Koykov, and he was doing that throughout the 3 rounds that it lasted. Every time tap to the head, bang to the body, bang to the left side of the body as well. Definitely a lot of good technique in there. You could tell that there was even some decent defensive work from Anthony Yarde, in the sense that he would be able to see like 9 out of 10 of the shots that Koykov would try to throw and land. Yarde would sort of see them come in, and you could tell, he had that, they do that style, that kind of a version of the sort of Philly shell style, and that was sort of working at periods in this fight, because he would see as soon as he sees something coming from this guy, bang, ready with the sort of right hand up there, tucks up, and he's prepared for the shot. So you could tell ring IQ wise, he was well above this guy, and it just became target practice, from the word go. It was just Yarde practicing, poking out the jab, dropping shots to the body. Good left hook to the head also was a good shot. And yeah, this was one of them where it was a foregone conclusion pretty much before the first bell rung. But at the same time, you've still got to get in there and do the work. So yeah, it was it's one of those displays where you can say it was impressive by Yarde. He took him out round 3 through some good uppercuts, and Koykov just went down. And the ref, although he did get up, the referee sort of had mercy and said, look, I'm waving it off, and I understand the referee's decision in the end, because at the end of the day, he was taking a beating in there. He was being battered in that ring. So to let him go on would just be to let him take more and more sort of serious damage, and there was no way he was ever going to win that fight. So as much as he got up, maybe he could have got a few more seconds, but that's about it. He was well and truly a beaten man in there. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. The expected happened. Yarde showed his variety of shots and stuff, and he got his practice, he got his warm-up. I mean, I personally would like to have seen him fight at some point earlier in the year as well. I thought he could have done with maybe another little run out, although it don't have to be anything big, but another little run out there just to keep himself fighting, keep himself active, because that was like a year out from his fight with Lyndon Arthur. That was a year. This fight was a year from it, so I thought that was a bit, not the best preparation, but I'm happy at least he gets to run out. And now the next fight he's going to have, unless something crazy happens, is going to be against Artur Beterbiev, the beast from the east. Yeah, so Yarde, as I said, Yarde gets his big opportunity next against Artur Beterbiev, and this is going to be a tough one. As I said, I favour Beterbiev to win, most definitely, because at the end of the day, you got to go with the guy who's got the better resume, who's fought the better competition, and the guy who's the world champion, the guy who's the unified world champion. You got to go with that guy over the other guy who's failed at his attempt to win a world title. But at the same time, I will say that Anthony Yarde has got the tools. He's, as I said, got the youth, he's the younger man, he's the fresher man, not much wear and tear on him, there won't be much wear and tear on his body, so he's younger and he's fresher. He does carry pop, he does carry power, he's a quick fighter, so he's got a lot of the attributes that you would need to beat Beterbiev. So an upset from Anthony Yarde would surprise me slightly, but it wouldn't be a massive surprise. So yeah, I think Beterbiev wins, but as I say, don't be surprised if Anthony Yarde causes an upset. I think I'm not a betting man, but that would be like a little wager that you could have there. You'd probably make good money on that. But yeah, for me, I think you've got to favour Beterbiev, but Yarde has an excellent chance of causing the upset. So let me know your thoughts on Yarde's next fight against Koykov, and what do you think happens against Artur Beterbiev in the comment section below. Until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out.